Robinson Show. We are back with retired horror author Andy Van Scoyoc.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Andy? How have you been?
Doing good. Keeping myself busy.
Yeah. What I was going to say, as a retired author, is it always itching at you to do something creative?
Well, I took a break for a long time, and then I got bored, and people kept saying, you need to write again. And I was like, no, I've been there, done that, not doing it again. So then I went back to writing like I call them micro grims. They're just creepy little thoughts. And I've got a couple of those books out on the market now. And then I got into making grims, visual grims. So I do that now. Plus I'm doing other artwork and music. So I'm just doing all kinds of things.
I was going to say, that's your current project, right? Is music, right? The Lamentation Project?
And yeah, it's mostly digital art. But yeah, I do music through it too. It's just kind of an umbrella term for everything I do that's weird and creepy.
What is a visual grim? Is that, I guess, kind of like a comic book?
No, it's a movie. I call it a movie it's got music and it's got animation to it that is under 50 seconds. It can be anywhere from 12 seconds to a minute.
Cool. Oh, okay,
Cool. I want to ask you too, Andy, how are you doing in this pandemic? Are you hoarding anything?
No, I'm a diagnosed psychotic, so I'm a potential danger to society. So this is the best thing that ever happened to me. I've been telling my shrink, I need to be at home in my house as a hermit where I'm not around anyone. Oh. So every time she calls me, I don't know why, she asks me how I'm doing because I'm going to tell her the same thing. This is awesome for me.
I'm dying. I would have loved to have like a few weeks off. Me and Slim are essentials. So we've been working through this. It's good to just get my mind off, I don't know, the whatever of it. But at the same time, I'd like a week or two just to chill.
Yeah, well, I'm retired, so I'm permanently chill. But
yeah.
I don't like to go out in public a whole lot. So, like I said, this not being able to leave the house and being locked down, this is great for me.
Well, the music thing, are you a musician or do you sing?
No, I'm a mixologist. I take tracks and I mix them together and make new things.
Cool. That is very cool. I've thought about that in the past.
Yeah, I've done a couple of soundtracks. One of my tracks was used for a movie that was made, so that was pretty cool.
Cool. And I remember years ago we spoke, I think the first time you reviewed movies. Do you do that or not anymore?
No, I don't review movies any longer because people don't like my reviews because I'm real disillusioned with the horror realm. It's always tits and ass and sex and stupid, and that would be fine if it was all still, don't y'all take this the wrong way, but if it was all guys still watching horror, I can understand that. But it's like the tits and ass, I guess I can overlook that. But when you're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse and people decide they have to go into a barn and fuck, it's like, really? That's the best y'all can do. Society is collapsing. People are eating other people, and, y'all got to sneak off into the barn for a fuck. Are you kidding me?
But that's real, though. Like, that's what would happen in a real zombie apocalypse.
Like it would happen, but yeah.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be me. I'd be like, sex, fuck you. Where's the guns? Where's the food and shit? Start barricading the house. You can have sex when everything's barricaded. When everything else is and you don't have to worry about anything. But, zombies are trying to get in the barn, so you're going to fuck right there on the bottom floor. Why don't you climb up into the loft?
I feel like if a butt cheek got bitten off by a zombie, that would work. That would work. Or a piece of flesh. Like if they got bitten wild, that would work. But just the gratuitous.
I'm just real disillusioned with horror. I mean, I love zombies, but I've gotten to where I watch a lot of Korean zombie films because they scare the shit out of you, and there's no tits and ass anywhere around. And it's like, okay, that's what I want. I want to be scared out of my mind when I watch horror, and it just doesn't happen.
So like that, like with the horror movies too, the Asians you feel are like a step ahead.
Oh yeah, Train to Busan. Holy shit!
That's what I was just thinking.
I have not seen a movie like that in ages. And then I watched another one called Flu, which was real apropos for what's going on now.
Sounds like it.
Same thing. It was like exactly what would happen. it was way too close to home.
Wow.
So, yeah, I've gotten to where I watch a lot of Korean zombie films. And I still like American zombie films, but it's like, I can't review them. Because seriously, if you're standing in a barn and zombies are trying to get in, you're standing in a barn, standing in a house, standing in whatever, and zombies are trying to get in, and you want to take the time to fuck instead of barricading the door, no, I'm sorry. I would be the first one to take a pickaxe to your head and be like, okay, yeah, you can just go out there with them.
I don't even think I could get ready for sex if that was going on. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I would be like, dumb fuck. Let's get the house barricaded first. Nail some shit up over the windows, put some chairs under the doors.
Yeah. Get some guns loaded. Anything but
That's right. Get some guns loaded. Do we have any water? Do we have any food?
Yeah.
It's like any B horror film nowadays has some producer behind it who's like, nah, you got to show some boobs or nobody's going to like it.
Like, I don't know.
Exactly.
Like, over the years, like, comedies used to have that. Comedies in the 80s. And then over, I feel like, the 90s and 2000s, they've gotten rid of that. So I kind of thought, like, the horror movies went the same way. I guess they didn't.
Yeah, and I never thought that I would be saying something like this. But if you're going to even show gratuitous dick, that gets old after a while, too. So it's like, and I cannot believe I'm actually even saying that. But it's like, really, come on, some kind of story, people. I mean, something.
Yeah.
Give me something here. So, yeah, no, I can't review movies anymore.
Because
every time I review one, I get lots of nasty comments and stuff like that. So.
I was going to ask, too, Andy, being retired and having written some things recently, are all your books still available or not?
Yes, they're all still on Amazon.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Cool.
And they're under my professional name, which is Andrea Dean Van Scoy. So
okay,
I just use Andy now because I'm not uptight and everything like I was when I was an author. So, but yeah, I used my proper name when I was an author. Now everything's just Andy Van Scoy, but then it was Andrea Dean Van Scoy.
Nice. And I was gonna say too, as a writer, you also done children's books, correct?
Yeah, I did a couple of children's books. I did a couple of ghost stories for my niece and two nephews when they were born. They're in their teens now. One of them's almost an adult. So, yeah, I did a couple of stories for them, and I did a story about some fairies one time, a little, like, fantasy story, making a dress for a girl. That's just little things like that. I haven't really gone much into children's books because I wrote with my real name on everything.
Okay.
So I didn't really advertise children's books because a lot of times, even if you tell people, hey, this is the book, if you're looking for your kids, you want this book only, people might not pay attention. So.
Yeah, or say away just because of the other works, maybe.
Right, exactly. So I never used a pen name.
That's what I was going to ask.
I didn't really push. I never pushed my children's books because I refused to write a pen name. I'm like, are you kidding me? I can barely keep my own name straight half the time. How am I going to juggle 3 or 4 names?
I always wonder if for actors is that hard to keep track because they're calling you a different name all day on set, and then then you got your real name, and yeah, it's gotta be hard to keep track.
Yeah. That's why I just go by Andy now. It's just like, that's just so much easier.
Nice. I saw too, as an animal rights activist, I wanted to ask, do you just want to like adopt every animal you see?
Oh, I do. My husband's already put his foot down. We had a litter of kittens outside that the mommy cat just had, and my husband looked at me first thing and said, don't even think about it.
I was driving to work, I think just the other day, and it was 5 a.m, and I saw these 2 little stray kittens just playing, and I'm like, I just wanted to pull over, call out of work, and just take these things home. Like, they were both so cute.
I'm the crazy cat lady. I'm the neighborhood crazy cat lady. All the people around, if they find cats, they bring them to me. And all the stray cats hang out in my yard because I play with them and feed them and do all that stuff. So.
They're so much fun.
They are.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask, too, being in Florida and an animal rights activist, how do you feel about Joe Exotic?
I don't like any place. It's a weird slippery slope with me because a friend of mine gave me their argument one time. It's like certain animals might need to be in a zoo so you can protect them, but then certain zoos, they don't take care of the animals the way they should.
Yes.
So it's like it's a catch-22. I don't like any animal being in any kind of captivity. And when I hear, because being an animal rights activist, I'm constantly getting things on my feed on Instagram about, oh yeah, this zoo starving their animals to death. And I'm like, okay, really? It's a good thing I don't know. My passport is out of date and I can't go to this place. Because I don't like hearing of any animals being abused, neglected, hungry, thirsty, or anything in any way. And I can't stand animal trafficking. All of it just makes me, I've almost had my Twitter account banned a couple of times because one time I got put on, not really lockdown, but they warned me because they were talking about bullfighting in Spain. And I said I would pay to see the bulls trample all the people to death running after them or running from them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I almost got put in Twitter jail for that. So anything about animals really, really sets me off and just makes me kind of earn my, well, luckily, no, I haven't actually done anything yet.
Yeah.
But
just watching that documentary, though.
My husband tells me, don't look at that shit.
Yeah, well, just watching the documentary, though, there were a few times, like, I was almost in tears, like, at some of the stuff. It's like, no, that's horrible, horrible.
And I also just don't understand the whole, I don't know if you saw the a documentary, but there's that other woman, Carol Baskin, who is the big cat rescue, but it's like she's doing the same thing as, like, Joe Exotic. Like, she's still keeping them in captivity and charging people to come and see her cats, like,
and had been breeding and selling them.
Yeah, but yet calling herself an animal rights activist, and it's like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's a real slippery slope with me. Like I said, because I understand that in certain places they could be killed, like they have a better chance being in confinement than they would in Africa, being hunted by poachers or being hunted by their own kind. You know, survival of the fittest. But then again, I also am suspect of quote-unquote zoos and things like that because, you know, I think people probably learned, like, during the Nazi Holocaust, you know, just because things look good on the outside doesn't mean that they are on the inside. And unless you can really get in there and get down to bare bones, I mean, like in some of the concentration camps, they had beautiful sinks set up for the people and had showers set up for them. Yeah, okay, well, when the Red Cross came through and looked at all that, they were like, oh, yeah, no, these people aren't being mistreated. What they didn't realize was that the sinks had no water, showers had no water, they were actually gas chambers.
Gas chambers, yeah.
So, so it's like, just because something seems like it's okay doesn't mean that it is.
Yeah.
But then what kind of chance is an animal going to have in Africa when you've got poachers over there?
Yeah. That's horrible.
Or you've got the idiots that like the big game hunt.
That's what I was just going to say. They go over there and they pay to do that, to be a big person and do that. Like, yeah, really? That's disgusting.
I wish they would pass a law over there that you can just kill poachers on sight or torture them or whatever you want to do to them. Because if we could do stuff like that, I would get my passport reinstated and I'd be like, ticket to Africa, please.
That sounds like it'd be a good horror movie.
Yeah, I love to see animals getting the best of people. I watched Zombies the other day.
Oh, I seen that.
I haven't heard of that. I remember one years ago called Zombievers, and I wanted to see that. It was about zombie beavers.
Yeah, well, this was Zombies. It's about a zoo where the animals get infected and they all go crazy and start killing everybody. And I'm sitting there the whole movie going, yeah!
There was another one, I think, Black Sheep, which was just like zombie sheeps. That was cool.
That sounds cool. I don't know. Like, I could be watching
one time called Nature's Grave, where this young couple, they went camping and they like chopped down a tree for firewood, and they went in the water and littered, and like all these bad things started happening to them, and it turned out that nature got them in the end. I was like, yes!
Just a tree just stabs them with a branch.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, it was like the tree stabbed them, or they fell and the tree impaled them, or something like that. I was like, yay!
Nice. Yeah, I could be watching any show, and most of the people dying in them is fine with me. But then when an animal dies, then I'm like really sad. Then I'm like almost in tears. Like even Game of Thrones, one of the dragons when it died, I was so sad. I was like, it doesn't matter who else died, just this dragon is dead, and it really, really messed me up.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like me. You know, I love to watch videos and things like of people being dismembered and skinned alive and beheaded, but then I'll watch something about a cute little animal that is up for adoption and it lost a little foot or something, and I sit there and bawl my eyes out.
Yeah, like that. I can't watch the beheading videos and stuff, but
and skinning alive and beheadings and going, dang, what did they do to piss that person off?
Andy, did you see that documentary on Netflix? It was called "Don't Fuck with Cats."
No, but a friend of mine told me about it. And see, I can't watch that because I'm afraid I'll go seek them out and be like, hey, what kind of stuff do y'all use against these people? Can I give you some ideas?
Yeah, that one was fucked up.
I've managed so far to not be locked up, and I want to keep it like that. But she told me about it, and she told me briefly some of the things they did. I'm like, okay, yes, I'll just be happy about that.
Yeah, because that was hard to watch in the beginning, because the beginning of the documentary is him just, like, killing cats, and, like, the way he's doing it is terrible. Like, he puts them in like a vacuum seal like bag, but eventually he ends up killing people, and when you get to that point you're like,
That was years ago too. There was a movie called Gummo, and all my friends, when they were, one of my friends was explaining it and saying, and I'm just by the explanation, I'm like, I can't watch that. That sounds terrible.
Bad, yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, I can't watch anything with animals. Anything with people, I'm like, yeah. I used to go on this site where it was all real death. It was people, like I said, being beheaded, like being dismembered, being skinned alive, people being run over by tanks, people that had been in car accidents and torn in half. And I'm sitting there going, oh, cool. And then I would go on Facebook or Instagram or something and see about this little dog came to this shelter and almost starved to death, and I was like, my husband's like, yeah, you're really not right.
It's great to reconnect with you though, Andy. I love when we get in contact and have you on. It's always a great time talking to you.
Oh yeah, I know, we always have such fun. I've got so many irons in the fire that I'm trying to find representation. Somebody that there's these things now called online cons. And it's like, I want to get in on that, but I wouldn't even begin to know who to contact. And then when the quarantine's lifted, I want to go back to doing real cons and have my art and my music and stuff like that. And I'm also getting into on-point ballet, and I'm going to incorporate my statue dancing in that, which I've been doing for a number of years. And I just like to have some representation for, and I do voiceover work too. I do a lot of voiceover work, so I would love to have representation for that, because like I said, so many irons in the fire.
Yeah.
I can't be chasing down leads on, this person needs voiceover work. Okay, let me contact them. So it would be nice if I had somebody to do that for me. But yeah, I'm constantly doing just voiceover work for this, that, or the other. I work with John Shelton a lot. I do a lot of voiceover work for him. And then I do, when there's voiceover work for some of my own things, I do that myself too.
That's awesome. Is it hard
being... The thing is, I work for free. I would pay whoever represents me, but I work for free because it's like, I don't need your money. I just want to get out there and do some shit.
Is it hard being out of, being retired and then finding someone to represent you? Like, having been out of it for so long, is it a project every time you need to find somebody to do that?
Yeah, it is. That's why I wish I could just find someone. I mean, I would even take somebody that's like in college and just learning the ropes, as long as they could book me for some things. But yeah, I mean, back in the day, I booked myself for everything, but I was also 15 years younger than I am now, and didn't have as many projects going on as I do now. I mean, I'm busier now than I was back in my heyday being an author. The only difference is I'm not doing conventions, which I used to do sometimes up to 3 conventions a month. I'd love to start doing that again, but I don't have the energy, the stamina, or the time to book myself. So
I was going to ask, like, doing the conventions, does that even get exhausting after a while?
Well, it did for me, because like I said, I would do upwards of 3 a month, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
And I did that for like 5 years.
Oh, wow.
But I loved it.
Yeah.
I always loved it. Because I was always like the black sheep of all the cons. If anybody wanted anything controversial or wanted to get away from the sunshiny, here's the beautiful, what we show everyone else, they'd come to me and I'd be like, come on over here.
I got the good shit.
I was curious, one of the things you mentioned you were doing was statue dancing. Yes. What is that?
I did want to ask that.
Yeah, it's It is where you do mostly poses, but you'll step out, kind of like if you've watched on point ballet, like Swan Lake and things like that, where they go up on their toes and they'll hold moves. Just imagine holding that for a few seconds more than what would be considered normal, and doing that to Gothic style creepy music, wearing Gothic creepy costumes. That's what I do.
Cool. That sounds awesome.
I think as far as I know, it's just something that I just came up with myself because I'm trying to keep myself in shape. But I'm going to get serious about it now. I've even ordered new On Point shoes, and I've started a Facebook page. It's something that I just want to start doing. And my husband's like, really? You don't have enough going on? Let's see. You put out a call that you want to volunteer at a cemetery to keep up a cemetery. You volunteered your services to do funerals, because I'm an ordained minister as well. You wouldn't know it by my mouth.
I saw that.
Yeah. He's like, you offered your services to do free funerals for people, or just, not at a church if they want me to come to a crematorium and say a couple of words, or they want me to come to their house and say a couple of words. And he's like, you want to work in a funeral home. You've started a cemetery club. You have your music. You have your art. And now you're going to throw statue dancing on top of it? Really? My husband, he knows I'm crazy, but he doesn't care.
The cemetery thing, I think we talked last time about my friend who's he's a director, a funeral director, and I talked to him a few weeks ago, and he's a little worried about this whole thing. He said that the death toll has gone way up, and he's just working insane amount of hours, and just sometimes he'll work a full day and then go back at midnight if bodies need to be cremated, just so they're not sitting around.
Oh, see, that would be awesome. I would love that. I mean, it sucks that the people die. I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah.
But I have a different outlook on death than most people do. I mean, I grew up with a mother who told me as a small child, from the minute you're born, you start to die. So that kind of shaped my outlook of death right there. I'm like, oh yeah, everything lives, everything dies. Okay.
Yeah. And like, he always enjoyed it, but like, he's just a little worried right now with this pandemic thing,
Yeah. Yeah, well, what I would do, because I'm not affiliated with a church or a funeral home, even though I've tried locally to get affiliated with a couple of funeral homes. I just figure, like, I've got a friend whose husband is getting ready to pass. He's got cancer. And I told her, I said, because she said he doesn't want a funeral service, he doesn't want a viewing, he doesn't want anything. And I said, well, no, I get that. I said, but he's going to be cremated. If you want me to come to the crematorium and say a couple of words as they're sticking him in the oven, I'll be happy to do that for you, send him off that way. So that's what I do. Or if people, like if they want to have like a get together at their home or something, I could come in and say a couple of things. I mean, I did a marriage one time with a woman, the bride's or the groom's mother, on her deathbed, sitting in the living room watching The Walking Dead while I was doing the marriage ceremony. So, hey, I'm up for anything like that.
That is unique.
Yeah, it was. She was in the living room on her deathbed and watching The Walking Dead. And I married her son and his fiance right there in the living room.
Was the volume like too loud, or was it muted? Like, how do you...
she turned it down.
Okay.
She didn't turn it off. She just turned it down.
She wasn't like, I'm trying to watch this.
I'm trying to watch this scene. Hold on a minute over there.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, that's an awesome mom right there.
That is. Wow. Well, and I wanted to ask too, Andy, about the voice work. Is that something you really enjoy? It sounds like it.
Oh, yeah, I do. I love voice work. I've been doing that off and on for over 30 years. That's cool. I started it a long time ago, and I can't really ever stop. I just love it. I'll do anything from, like, spot ads to, like, I can't do full-on, like, big-time voiceover work anymore because with age and I think I'm in the beginning stages of COPD, so I don't have the breath that I used to have.
Yeah.
But I can do still just, small voiceover things and take a break and then do some more, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
How do you record? Do you use a computer? Do you have a studio? Do you put effects on your voice?
I can put effects on my voice, but I don't unless they ask for it. A lot of times people just want me to do the straight recording.
That's cool.
So they can add what they want to it. But I do everything on my phone. I've gotten lazy in my old age. When I was younger and used to do work, I had a professional studio that I would go to.
Okay.
And I would record there. The people would hire me, and I would go to the professional studio with a full sound crew and do it that way. But now with age, it's like, the nearest sound place is probably in Tampa. And it's like, if you want to pick me up and come drive me to Tampa, I'll record for you, but I'm not going to Tampa.
That's great, though, because, I've had people I've hit up for, lines for things. And I'm like, just do them on your phone. Even on just Facebook, you can record voice messages.
Oh, yeah, that's what I do. I have an app on my phone, and I record, and then I have software where I can, if they want me to do it myself, I can add effects. I can add lightning. I can do all kinds of weird things. I can add tremor. I can fade my voice. I can do all kinds of weird stuff. And like I said, I don't charge people for anything I do because it's all, I'm retired in both ways. I'm retired from the work world, and then I retired from writing 10 years ago. So it's like I do all this just for fun.
For something to do. That's awesome. Like
I said, I'm busier now than I was when I was actually doing the stuff, but I love it. I can't stand to be bored.
Yeah, that's what I agree. That's what I think. I don't know. If I didn't have too much on my plate, I don't think I'd be able to handle life. I don't know. I need a lot. I have to
keep reminding myself I'm not 30 years old any longer.
But mentally you are. That's what it is. I don't know. Yeah, the body will age, but the mind is still, at least for now, it's still going.
Oh yeah, there's a friend of mine reminded me earlier. He said, "You're as young as you feel." I said, "Well, I feel 20 and my mind thinks I'm 18, and the two are constantly fighting because they're both wrong."
I say I got the organs of a 90-year-old and the mind of a 18-year-old and the body of a 30-year-old, so it all evens out.
Yeah, it does.
It's I don't know.
Speaking of cats, I'm sitting here on the bed with my little boy Peyton, and you can probably hear my other cat Genesis outside the door trying to get in the room.
I thought I heard one. Yeah,
he's out there screaming at me, wanting in the room, but he gets under the bed and we can't get him out, so I'm not letting him in. But Peyton and I are sitting here.
Nice. Slim's cat will do that. He'll just start crying. He'll cry to get out of the house, to go out in the yard, and then a minute later you hear him crying to get back in.
He's the weirdest cat in the world because a couple years ago I realized, I can let him outside and he doesn't go anywhere. He goes maybe 10 feet away from the door and then hangs out for about 15 minutes and then wants to come back in, but doesn't even leave the radius of the house. So.
Oh yeah, no, I've only had two cats that would not tear off and run away, and they're both gone now. They're both in my little cemetery out back. But I'm sitting here with Peyton. Please, he'd be gone in 2 seconds, wouldn't you? You'd go out and find your brother, wouldn't you? Because your brother's still outside. Mm-hmm. You think mommy's chicken? Yeah, you keep biting on mommy. You think mommy tastes like chicken?
Oh, they're so cute at first, and then they start biting, or they dig the claws in, and they're like, oh no.
Yeah, and he bites me all the time, though. I always tell him I'm not chicken. I call him piranha sometimes. Genesis, you're not coming in, honey.
She's going to try. He or she is going to try. They won't stop.
He does. He wants to be in here so bad, but like I said, then he gets disruptive.
That, or sometimes they come in, and then they start acting crazy, where like we were saying too, just want to go right back out. They don't know what they want half the time.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he does.
Andy, thank you so much. It's been a blast talking to you. I can't believe the time's up already.
Yeah, I know. I always love hanging out with you guys because I can be me, and if I drop F-bombs, I know y'all will forgive me. Some places I'll be like, can I drop F-bombs or do I have to be real proper? And they're like, well, we'd prefer not. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
Right. But with you guys, I can always be me.
Absolutely. That's why I always love having you on. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram. That's where I am the most active, at the little @ the Lamentation Project. And I post daily work, sometimes 3 times a day. So it's a very busy profile. You'll never be bored.
Cool. Thank you, Andy. We will definitely have to do this again.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you guys take care of yourselves, and thanks for having me on.
You too. Thank you. Have a good one.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.